It's been 48 hours since the Luka Doncic trade, and I still don't believe it's real. Definitely the craziest trade in NBA history, and possibly the craziest trade in sports history as well. With the trade deadline just a couple days away, it gave me the idea what other stars could possibly be traded, because apparently there's no such thing as an untouchable player. Essentially, these are just my opinion and they're pretty much hot takes, so don't take this video too seriously. I'm not your GM, alright? I'm not Nico Harrison. I'm not trading away your franchise player. Anyways, I present 5 NBA stars that could be traded. First up, we got Zion Williamson. Currently in his 6th NBA season, he has only managed to play more than 60 games twice in his career. In fact, he's only managed to play more than 30 games twice in his career. Obviously, the main concerns with this guy is clearly his health issues as well as his poor conditioning, often labeled as being fat, and he's not far from it. Ultimately, Zion is a gamble. It's pretty much a coin flip. On the upside, he could be a generational player. He could be a face of a franchise for the next decade. On the downside, well, we're seeing the downside right now. He barely plays any games. As the Pelicans GM, you gotta look at this like we haven't made any progress in the past couple of years. We're already at the bottom of the standing this season. Do we just cut our losses and start another rebuild at this point? And from what we've seen, Zion and the Pelicans management haven't really seen eye to eye. Maybe it's a management issue, maybe it's just the food in New Orleans. For some reason, this guy can't stay in shape. This is a guy where other teams could be looking at him saying, hey, for a couple of first round picks, we'll take the chances that he might actually perform for our team. The ideal destination for a guy like Zion would be any franchise that has a young guard who could facilitate the ball. You compare him up with a guy like Cade Cunningham, LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, Trae Young, any other guard of this caliber. Now, I have Hornets listed as the ideal destination because a LaMelo Zion team up would feed generations. This will be your two-man combo for the next decade, and all it comes down to is, can both of these guys stay healthy? And if they do, you got a really good chance at a title. Next up, we got Trae Young, the face of the Atlanta Hawks franchise for about the last 7 seasons. He's a good fit in the city based on vibes alone, but vibes don't win championships. Me personally, I don't believe you can win a title with Trae Young as your number 1 option. At most, he has to be a 1A, 1B type of player. Defensively, he is barely 6 foot. He's not intimidating anyone, and he's also not even that great of a defender for being 6 foot as well. And the Hawks organization consistently failed to put pieces around him to make this a title contending team. They have been the definition of mid for the past 3 seasons. I swear they finished with a 41-41 record every season. And they just got the most recent number 1 overall draft pick, so they could move in the direction of a rebuild. As for teams that might be looking to pick up a guy like Trae Young, well, any team that is set defensively have nothing to lose with the addition of Trae Young. A perfect example being the Spurs. They have their franchise guy in Wemby. I've seen that guy guard a 3-on-1 fast break. They don't need Trae Young playing any defense over there. Playstyle wise, he can be the perfect replacement for a guy like Chris Paul. He'll be set alongside Wemby for the next 10 years. Initially, I would have said that the Spurs would give up about 4 first round draft picks. However, they just got De'Aaron Fox, so I see no reason for them to even pick up Trae Young at this point. They could try and attempt a Trae Young De'Aaron Fox swap. However, this would make no sense for the Atlanta Hawks because the only reason they're going to give up Trae Young is to start a rebuild from scratch anyways. At number 3, we got Joel Embiid. This guy has been playing for the 76ers for I don't even know how long at this point. All I know is he's never made it past the 2nd round. No doubt an MVP caliber player. However, he does have some of the biggest health concerns in the NBA. He has missed almost half of all possible games he could have ever played in, and he's always hurt when his team needs him the most. Very similar to the Zion situation. However, Zion is yet to enter his prime. Meanwhile, this guy is in the middle of his prime. With the addition of Paul George, I don't think this team is getting past the 1st round. If you're the 76ers management, I think it's time to let Embiid go, pick up a couple of first round picks, and start building around Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. The ideal destination would be any team that already has an established playmaking guard and is looking to actually contend for a title, which perfectly describes the Hawks. If you're not going to trade away Trae Young and rebuild, you might as well put a roster around Trae Young that can actually compete for a title. Even if it's only for a couple of seasons. Obviously, you're still going to have health concerns regarding Joel Embiid, but don't forget Embiid is a defensive monster. You can have him anchoring the defense while the offense still runs through Trae Young. You take off some of the offensive load from Embiid, and who knows, maybe he could stay healthy enough for a good playoff run. Next up, we got Stephen Wardell Curry. a franchise player at the tail end of his career. When you see a guy like this, you think Dirk Nowitzki, you think Tim Duncan, you think Kobe, you know, players who played their entire career on one team. On a purely business perspective, this is probably the best choice for the Warriors. They currently do not have a competent roster surrounding Curry, so realistically they don't have any shot at winning a title. Also, this is not the same Steph Curry we had 10 years ago. He is showing signs of slowing down, whether you like it or not. How much time left does he have of being the number one option, of being the focal point of the other team's defensive scheme? I don't think he has much left. But how long left does he have of being a number 2 option? You know, taking a backseat, being the second biggest weapon on the team. I think he could play another 5 years easily. Which is why I believe if the Warriors were to go public saying they're open to trading Steph Curry, it would start one of the biggest bidding war we've ever seen from all of the title contenders. And that's not even including the fact of all the revenue that would be generated from his jersey sales alone. I wouldn't be surprised if team offered 5, 6, maybe even 7 first-round draft picks for an aging Steph Curry. This would set up the Warriors nicely for their next rebuild, and the ideal destination I have for this are the Mavericks. There are a bunch of win-now teams, however this is a must-win team. They pretty much gave away their future, a generational player saying, we believe this trade will help us more to win now. The only way they could justify this is if they actually win now. At this point, you might as well go all in. You trade away your favorite 6th grader, you'll be okay. That's apparently the price they want to pay to win a championship right now. And also, we get to see the Splash Brothers one more time. And lastly, we got Devin Booker, the cornerstone of the Phoenix Suns franchise. This is my Nico Harrison moment. It's time to blow it all up and build from the ground up. I don't think the roster surrounding him is good enough, and I don't think he's good enough. Kevin Durant is not the same player he was 10 years ago, and as for Devin Booker, he's an all-star caliber player. I don't think he's a superstar caliber player. Now, it is possible to win championships without a superstar caliber player. We've seen it before with the 2004 Detroit Pistons, and more recently the 2024 Boston Celtics. Anyways, I don't have anything more intellectual to add on to that. I just simply don't think this team is good enough, especially with Devin Booker being the focal point. The ideal destination for this would be any contenders who believe they would benefit from the addition of Devin Booker, and for the Suns, they pretty much would just accept whatever team offers them the most. Anyway guys, do you guys agree with my high basketball IQ takes, or do you think I should never speak about basketball ever again? And do you have any personal trade hot takes? Who knows, maybe you're the next Sam Presti? Maybe you're the next Nico Harrison. If you are a returning viewer, let me know. Do you enjoy these more serious, longer form of content? I do have a couple more planned for this month, and depending on how well they do, I might just drop a couple of these every month. Anyways guys, thanks for watching the video. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Like the video if you liked the video. And anyone crying in the comment section because I wasn't on my hands and knees glazing their favorite player, well, I speak for everyone.
We do not care.